Let's build a quiz together using the new quizzes engine in Canvas. Now I've got a sneak peek of an amazing feature for you towards the end of the video, so be sure to stick around. Otherwise, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now you can start your quizzes by either going to the quizzes tab, which I've got over here. So you can go to your quizzes tab and then click on that plus quiz. I tend to build these though in the modules themselves. So I'm going to go over to modules, and then I'm just going to use this module 1 that I've got here, and I'm going to click my plus button on that right hand side, and instead of adding an assignment, I'm going to add a quiz. I'm building one, so I'm going to hit create quiz. Now it gives me 2 different quiz engine options. We're going to use the new quiz option instead of the classic quizzes. Now I recommend if you're a brand new Canvas user, or even if you're one that's just ready to up your game, I strongly recommend that you use the new quizzes. It does everything for you except for surveys. So if you're familiar with doing surveys in Canvas, that is part of classic quizzes. New quizzes won't do that, but it will do everything else. So we're going to do the new quiz engine, and I'm just going to give this, I'm just going to call this like review unit 1 quiz. And this is my actual real life class. So I'm going to put it in a category that's not worth anything, and then don't indent, that's good. And then I'm going to click add item. Now the quiz exists, but it's completely empty. So let's go ahead and start building it. I find it there. It's at the very bottom of my module. Let's go ahead and click on it, and it's ready for me to edit. Now the points, when you're doing new quizzes, you need to really think about these points and make sure that you're comparing the point total that you put here with the point total that you get when you're building your questions. So I'm going to put 5 points, but I'm going to remember to make sure that these 2 match up. I've already got the assignment group there. Points is fine. I'm going to count this towards their final grade. You cannot mess with this, so I'm going to leave that, obviously, and I'm also not going to put a due date here. Now what we're doing here is really just editing our grade book settings. So everything that we see here on this page are our title and grade book settings. I'm going to hit save just because I like to make sure everything is being saved, and I'm going to open it up again. And this time, instead of changing these like I've done, I am going to click on the build button in that lower right hand corner. This is where we are going to add our questions. We're also going to get that 5-point total, and we're going to set up our quiz settings, things like show 1 question at a time, and we can do accommodations here as well. But we're going to be building the quiz first, and I really like the workflow that they've set up here across the top. So I've got build, settings, moderate, reports, and exports. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use that. I already have the title there. You can put instructions here, so whatever your instructions are. Notice how this is a rich content editor. That means that you've got everything that you want or need to create your instructions. So you could absolutely put in there a course link for reference. You could put in an image, lots and lots of different options here. But what you don't need to put in is a time limit. If we decide to put in a time limit using that settings tab at the top, it will automatically show up for our students. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue to work down the page, and you'll notice that we've got this plus button right here. This is how you will add questions in. So I'm going to hit the plus button, and this is actually where the preview feature is going to come in, but you're going to have to wait until the end. I'm going to show it to you then. Okay, so we are going to start with, let's just start with a multiple choice question. And once you're here, it's fairly straightforward, but I'll tell you what screws me up every time. I don't know why. It's the question title versus the question stem. Now the question title is really only helpful if you're going to be putting this into a question bank. But notice how the question stem cannot be blank. I really wish they called that. So Instructor people, Canvas people, if you're watching, I really wished you called this question instructions instead of question stem. Okay, So you can give this a title or not. I'm going to skip it. I'm going to click on question stem here, and I'm just going to say, choose which fallacy is represented by this statement. You're either for me or against me. And I'm just going to, since I've got a rich content editor, I'm going to make this bold and italic. Now I want to have some answers here. So let's go ahead and throw some answers in. One of these is going to be an ad hominem. I think I spelled that right. Let's have another one be false cause. And then another one, I don't know, red herring. And actually I haven't used the answer yet. And then the answer is limited choice. This is our answer. So these dots over here on the left-hand side are going to signify which one is your answer. Let's go ahead and choose this last one as our answer. Now it gave me 4 by default, but I can certainly eliminate one of these choices by clicking on the trash can at the right-hand side next to it. I can also add an additional answer in, so I can add that answer back in. That one was red herring, right? Red herring. Okay, I certainly don't need a calculator for this one, but that's a great tool. I'm not going to vary points by answer. You could shuffle those choices though, which makes it really nice if students are prone to cheating. And then I'm not going to align this to any outcomes because I don't actually have any here. And you can also add this to a question bank. Now, I am not going to do question banks here, but look for a video from me on question banks. I'm going to make this 1 point. Now, it's really important that you click done so that this question is saved for you. Now, you can preview this any time you want as you're building it, and I think that's a great thing to do. So we can click that preview button and it will take me to a partial preview. I'm going to also show you a student preview here in a little bit so you can see exactly what the students are able to do, and it's really pretty nice. This little pin here will give them a list over on the left-hand side of the questions that they want to go back to. This return button up here, this is the other thing that has gotten me in the past. The return button actually gets you back to modules all the way out of quizzes. Again, Canvas people, if you're listening, call that exit or something. This is exit preview at the bottom. Okay, exit preview. Let's add another question. This time I want to show you how to do the hotspot question. This one is, if you're familiar with classic quizzes, this one is not in classic quizzes, and it's a really, really great one to incorporate into your quizzes. Question title, I'm going to leave that, but I'm going to put my instructions here. I'm going to say click on the word in the ad that makes this an example of the appeal to emotion fallacy. Okay, so clicking down, I'm going to put my photo where it says drag and drop here. Mine's on my computer though, so I'm going to click browse. And I'm going to choose that Coke ad and then open. Now up above, I have a couple of different options for creating a hotspot. I can use square, oval, or polygon. For the polygon, you're going to click to create endpoints or vertices or whatever you want to call those. And then you could create an object that way. I actually don't want to do that. I actually want to do a square one instead. So I'm going to drop the square one right over the top of that. And then what if you thought, oh gosh, what if a student thinks the ladybug? And I would actually maybe take the ladybug. So I can do an oval here around the ladybug. Now, if you look down below at what we've created the polygon hotspot. I really don't need the polygon and the square one. So you can get rid of any of these now. So I'm going to get rid of that polygon hotspot. I want to keep the square hotspot, which is around happiness, and I want to keep the one that is around that ladybug. Either of those will work for our answer. I'm going to have that one worth 1 point, and then we will click on done. The next question that I want to add, I actually want to add one that's really similar to this first one. And New Quizzes makes that super easy. So I'm going to go up to the first one, and over here on the right-hand side, I've got this copy symbol. So I'm just going to use this duplicate symbol and click on it. And I have duplicated that question down below. So let's change this. So we're going to choose that fallacy type, but I want to change this one to don't trust anything she says. She didn't even go to high school. Or something like that. Okay, so this one would be an ad hominem or personal attack. So I'm going to change that answer to ad hominem. Now you can also add some comments. You can add them for each individual question, or you can down here at the bottom. This is, I think, the more efficient way to do it. You can click on that comment box and it says, what do you want to tell the student for a correct answer? What do you want to tell them for an incorrect answer? So for a correct answer, I'm going to say, you're right. Good job. I think I missed an apostrophe there. Okay, you're right. Good job. And for the second one, I'm going to say, review the definition of the types you don't recognize. Or whatever you wanted to say. Okay, and then done. So that way I've got a response when the student gets the answer correct, or one when they get it incorrect, so they know what to do next. Now before I go on, I want to make sure and click done so that gets saved. I made this mistake of not clicking on done before, and the ones that I don't click on done actually just disappear. They're not saved. Otherwise, as you're building this, it is auto-saved as long as you're telling it that you're done with each question. Notice how as you scroll down to the bottom, there's no save button, and there's no save button here on top. Now, if you wanted to change the order of these, you can open up this extension, and this extension gives you some different navigation options. So notice I've got my 3 questions down below here, and maybe I want that hotspot to be first, so I can click on the array of dots and then move that one up to the top and then leave the next 2 together. Let's go ahead and collapse that back. The last type that I want to show you, although there are tons of types, please let me know if you want me to do a deep dive into any of these. Thinking of you math people. Next, let's do a matching type. And I want to show you this one because it's not how you would expect it to be laid out. So I'm going to click on the plus button and we are going to choose matching. And I'm going to skip the question title. I'm going to go to the question stem. And what we actually are going to end up with are drop-down menus that students are going to choose from. So I'm going to say for the instructions, choose the correct fallacy type for each statement. Let's go ahead and put our statements in. As I put the statements in, I'm also going to put the fallacy type that it matches on the other side as the answer. This first one is false cause. So I've got everything in there. The answers are already set because of the way that this is set up. We can also put in a distractor. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the distractor is going to be, what have I used? Oh, there's like let's do appeal to emotion. So that's going to be my distractor, the one that doesn't match anything. I don't need a calculator. I do want to do partial credit. I don't need an exact match. I'll give them credit for some of them. I'm going to leave this as, actually, let's make this one 2 points because remember I wanted this to be a 5-point quiz. And then I can do a comment at the end for correct answer. I'm just going to say, nice work. Okay, and then I'm going to go done. Now, we didn't go through all of those types, so let me click done one more time. Now, we didn't go through all of those types, but I just want to really quickly click on the plus sign again. Let's do one here at the bottom. I'm going to click on that plus sign again. Now, there are several different question types. I didn't go through all of them because there's a lot, but I went through the more common ones. I encourage you to go through these, play around with the preview. I'm also going to show you how to do student preview and then take the quiz so you can see exactly how it works for your students, and you can even practice grading. A few of these need manual grading, like the essay one, for example. But I'm not actually going to add another one. So I'm going to click the X. I'm going to scroll up to make sure that I've got my 5 points, and when I scroll all the way up to the top over here on the left next to build, it does say that I've got my 5 points. Let's do the settings next. So for the quiz settings, this is different than those grade book settings. So for the quiz settings, you might want to shuffle the questions. I don't want to, but I do like to do one question at a time. This can be less overwhelming for students, and I do want to allow backtracking. I'm not going to do an access code. I do want to do a time limit, and let's say that we're going to give them 30 minutes to go through this. I'm not going to worry about a calculator or multiple sessions. Allow clearing a selection, definitely. You can show custom feedback with results, and that would be something that you would type right here, but I'm not going to do that. I've already included some feedback. I'm not going to do that. Allow multiple attempts, yes. And I want it to keep the highest score. You could do average or latest. I'm not going to do unlimited. I'm going to give them 2 tries. You can also require time in between, and you can also require, I love this one, enable building on last attempt. That means that they're just going to be redoing the ones that they missed. Love that. Hide results from students. I don't want to hide the results from students. I want to show them the questions when they're reviewing them. I want them to be able to see their responses. And I also want them to be able to see the feedback. Show points possible and points awarded. Okay, so again, this is something maybe that you would want to play with to see exactly how you want this to look for your students. Now remember, it's auto saving for us, so I can continue to work through my workflow. I'm going to click on moderate next. Now I've got my students' names over here hidden. This is a brand new quiz, so no one has taken the quiz yet, but when they've taken the quiz, I can come back here to build and then moderate, and I can see how many times they've tried it. I can see their score, how long it took them, and so on. And I can also click the pencil over here. And the pencil will allow me to give them an additional attempt. They have 2. I could add 1 more. I can also do a time adjustment. Now, whatever you've done over here is for this quiz only. I'm going to click the X. But let's click on this first student. Let's say that this student has accommodations and has double time for all assessments. So I can do a time adjustment here, and for that time adjustment, I want to change it to time limit multiplier, and I'm going to multiply that by 2. I'm not going to reduce the answer choices, and I want to apply these changes to any in-progress attempts. Now this will apply universally to all new quizzes. If you happen to have some old quizzes, it won't apply to those. Or if you've got something like I do that's from an OER source, it won't apply to those. Just things that you built in new quizzes. Okay, let's hit save. We also have reports and exports. We've got speed grader over here, but what we really want to do now is to see what this thing looks like. Let's click return. This is going to get me all the way out of the quiz, so I just want you to see that because I've done that way too many times. To show you what this looks like, I need to publish it. So I'm going to move it into a module that I've got published here in this course, and I'm going to publish this just temporarily, remind me to unpublish it. And I'm going to look at this in student view. So scrolling up to the top, and I really want to show you this because I think this is where new quizzes really shines, is in student view. Okay, so I'm in here as a test student, which means that you can actually take the quiz as well. Here it is. Let's click on the quiz that we just built. And it is going to give me some instructions here. So notice how underneath the instructions, it has the time limit. So no need to do that. And it does say build on last attempt enabled. So the settings that you've chosen show up here as well. Let's go ahead and click begin. Now notice I've got a time here at the top, which I don't super love. Students can actually close that or open it. I find it super stressful, but helpful to be able to check. Over here on the left-hand side, students can extend this and they can see what the questions look like and which ones they've pinned that they want to go back to later. Okay, let's go ahead and take the quiz. It says click on the word. I'm going to click on happiness and then I'm going to do next. Notice how clear my selection is also saved. I'll click on next. This is that matching question and it doesn't show up how you would expect. Instead, it shows up with drop downs. So not my favorite, but it works. My team lost because this is going to be a false cause. limited choice there. It could sleet or something. This is a personal attack, so ad hominem. 95% of doctors, this is appeal to authority. The other thing I don't love, I wish that they went away since I'm supposed to be matching. This is to me really like a choice, a drop-down choice or something. Okay, now I'm gonna click this pin because maybe I wanna go back to this one before I submit my quiz. Now back over to this collapsed left-hand column. If I uncollapse that, then I see that I've got that second question pinned, and I know that I would want to go back to that one. Okay, let's collapse it again. And then next, I love that feature. And then I can go ahead and just like guess this one, and then next, and I'm just going to guess this one and then submit. I'm ready to submit, yes. Now this also gives you a chance to see if you've got the settings the way you want them. Is this showing you what your students see when they're finished? Notice that they can do the attempt right now, or maybe they want to go study and then go back to that quiz, and then they've got some feedback here as well. Now I've left that quiz as a student, and I really want to leave student view because I want to show you that really amazing feature that's coming up. So it should be available. I was just at a conference with Instructor in the next few months, I think. But I was able to get a little sneak preview of it. So I'm in a beta version right now of Canvas, so you won't have access to this yet, but soon. So I'm just gonna do a brand new quiz. So I'm gonna go plus, and then quiz, create quiz. Let's see, I'm gonna call this the new quizzes. Assignments is fine, add item. Okay, let's click it to open, and then we are going to build this one. I'm just going to leave everything there, and I'm going to go right over to build. So we're going to click build because this is what I want to show you. When we add questions to this, I should do something for instructions, whatever. Done. I get this generate with AI. This is so cool. So I'm going to ask it to generate this with an AI. I'm going to follow the workflow, select content from the course. I'm going to select this alt text and then select, that's content. And then it gives me some additional options here. This is depth of knowledge. Let's say that I really just want skills and concepts. Bloom's taxonomy, I want them to be able to apply what they've learned. I'm going to leave that language type. Number of items, let's create 3 questions with a point value each of 1, and then generate items. Provide topic focus. Focus on how to use the alt text. Okay, and then generate items. Takes just a few minutes. You can also do something similar to this using ChatGPT. I've got a video for that here. And what it wants you to do next is to edit and review. These questions are only really good questions if you have reviewed them. So I'm just going through each of these, and I'm going to review those and understanding the purpose. What is the primary purpose? So I'm going to save and do next. This one looks great, save and do next. And then I'm going to add all 3 of these to the quiz. And then I'm ready for settings. Subscribe to get more tutorials just like this one on new quizzes and then some. Here's my tutorial on how to get ChatGPT to create quiz questions for you.